Hello, Soul Sister. Welcome to another episode. I am so excited to have another week with you. And I have Adrien Blackwell in the house. Adrien, I'm so glad you're here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's so cool. We just met recently and I'm like, oh my God, you have something so unique and different. You have to come on Midlife Love Out Loud. She's a celebrity healer. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She has a healing background as a Reiki Master-Teacher, Shamanic Healer, Theta Healer, and Medical Qigong student. And that was the catalyst for her to create her own modality, Ascended Healing, and the recorded healing called Ascension Codes. I'm sure that's piqued your interest. We are going to be talking about that. She's been featured on so many TV shows all around the globe, including NBC News, Travel Channel, and the Bio Channel. So this woman gets around, and here she is for you. All right, let's have some fun, sister. All right, let's start with, what exactly do you do? Celebrity healer, all these tools. What do you do?
Most people don't even really know what it is. The only thing that people need to know is that I'm a healer. Now, who I help is really, where the story comes in, because there's so many testimonials. I have hundreds of testimonials, but one of the things that I feel so drawn to help people with is to remove blocks to love. So it's all about my story. So my story was, I was in a young relationship. It didn't work out. I really honestly thought that that was it for me. Like, there's no reason for me to try again, especially if relationships in this way. I mean, it was very heartbreaking. I had just had my daughter. She was 4 months old, and I left the love of my life. So and then when I really honestly started thinking that I was going to I can do this. I can get out there and I can start, and maybe I'll be in a relationship. I found out he died. And that was heartbreaking.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So here I am, I was in my late 30s, and I'm like, I don't even know if I can do this. And all of a sudden men are just coming in the droves, and let's do something different. Let's talk about getting in a relationship. And I was like, I really need to rethink this. And I had to go into an intensive healing to actually heal my heart and heal my mind, to even get into the mindset that I could let somebody in. And it's interesting because, I'm one of those women who I would focus on my career, and I would focus on money, and I would focus on what I can control, because I didn't feel like I could control love. And those are the people I help. So since I overcame that, I'm like, I work with y'all women who are all in your masculine. You're working on your male self, because you're like, it's a man's world. I got to fight my way through this. And how cool is it when you finally are able to use your feminine and say, I want to sit back and let you take care of me, which is not an easy thing to do. It is not an easy thing to do, but the healing is what made this, like, I can do this, and it's fun, and I like it. So I started
it's fun and I like it.
So, now I can move into my feminine energy and in my masculine energy at will. Like, it's not, the women out there, those of you who know what I'm talking about, you've been told you are intimidating, you're too much.
Yeah, we none of us know what you're talking about.
You scare off men. Those are the people that I help. And I have women that come more feminine, and they're having issues with relationship. But I'm telling you, the ones where we really excel are the ones that are just like me, because I've overcome it.
I love it. I love it. You mentioned so many important things. And one of the things I'm hearing is, women in a masculine patriarchal world, and we've taken on a lot of those attributes, and it doesn't necessarily translate very well when it comes to relationships. So we've become independent. We've become strong. We can do things on our own. We have careers. And then we want to open to love and receive. And we're like, we've been hurt. We've been betrayed. We've had loss. And so people are carrying around a lot of stuff. So I'm curious, when somebody comes to you and they're like, yeah, I'm totally pushing people away, I'm totally blocked. What are some of the results that you're seeing with the work that you do? And how do you really do it with these women?
Listen, and this is why I say the results are way more important than me trying to explain everything that I do, because I have 13 different modalities. Yeah. Right? I utilize all of that to help people, but I got to read to you a testimonial. I asked her if I could use this today.
Oh, yeah.
And mind you, I help people with love, but when you deal with the heart energy, when you're dealing with your heart and you're healing those blocks to receiving, because healing is just receiving, it's learning how to receive. Love is learning how to receive. Whenever you heal those blocks, I've had people tell me that masses of cancer disappeared after working with me. I've had people tell me they found their soulmates. I've had people tell me that they became millionaires when that was their intention when working with me. And this was so much good. This was just so cool. This woman wrote, when you said you were sending a burst of energy, I didn't know what you did or what happened, but I literally felt it. I didn't expect anything, so I was tripping.
Wow.
It was amazing. And for some reason, I started crying. I know you said that happens to people. I don't know exactly what got healed, but when I went to the GYN to see about an ovarian cyst that I had for years, it was gone. And I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like a dermoid, I think, a dermoid cyst, which it only can be removed by surgery.
Wow. Wow.
And
Well, we know that's not true.
It's not now. And so a lot of times people are telling me that they actually have physical healing. They actually have emotional healing. They actually have their finances healed, and then they're open to love. And so love comes in. So it's not just one result. Like, you know, I don't, and I say this often, I do not under any circumstances want to work with a woman who thinks that I either have to choose between love or money, health or love, you know, where they feel like, well, only one area of my life can be okay. I want to work with women who say, I want it all. I am here to have an experience. And the experience I want is good health, real love, and a lot of freaking money.
Yeah, sprinkle in a lot of pleasure too. I love it.
From all of that, you know?
Absolutely. So true. So true. You know, I really, soul sister, you're listening to this. I want you to take a deep breath into what she just said, because so often we think we can only have success in one aspect of our life. So many women come to me, they're very successful in their business and they're struggling with their love life. Or people actually have had great success with their love life and partners. And they're like, I can't seem to follow through when it comes to business. And when you get to the root cause, when you get to empty out and break through those blocks, like we both do, it's amazing how everything opens up, because it just spills into every aspect of your life. So that's what I'm hearing. I know as well, when I've worked with people, and when we are working on love and working through some of the blocks, how their back pain disappears or how they start to lose weight, because it's a shift. It's a shift in the unconscious realms. And I know Theta healing accesses that, shamanic healing accesses that. You have the chops, sister. And in a few minutes, we're actually going to do a healing process. She's going to offer you an experience. So keep with us, because there's a lot here right now. So one of the things we talk about a lot of times is, well, it's easier when you're in your 20s and 30s. That's when everybody finds love. And I know it's different, because the women come to me and I see people finding their soulmates all the time when they start to break through. I'm wondering, what's your take on, is it too late to find love? Are people ever too old to find love? What are you seeing?
Here's the deal. Okay. This is a really good conversation to have.
Yeah.
When I talk to people who have been married for 30, 40 years, one of the things that's consistent is that the beginning in their 20s, in their teens, 20s, 30s, it was difficult. You're just learning how to live with somebody. You're just coming into your own. You haven't figured it out yet.
Right. We don't know who we are in our 20s.
And the stories. And it's generally not good. But by the time I'm talking to them, their relationship is awesome. Like, we worked it out, you know, because of the traumas. And sometimes they're like, yes, my husband cheated or my wife cheated and we worked it out. It's like all this stuff that they went through to find out who they are. As single women who didn't have to go through that, got to find out who we were by ourselves. We didn't have to fight with somebody. We didn't have to argue with somebody. We didn't have to go through the trauma of a relationship necessarily. And so we get to have the experience that the women are having that have been married for 30 years and already went through that. We get to have that other experience of now where we know who we are, we're getting in a relationship, and we get to experience the best part of that.
Yes. Yes. And that's one of the reasons I absolutely love working with women over 40. we've lived. And if we've done the work or we're starting to do the work, it is such a precious time because we really don't give a shit what people think about us. At least we're moving in that direction. A lot of us, like I talked to my mom, she's obviously a little older than me. And every decade I'm like, okay, what'd you learn this decade? What'd you learn this decade? It just gets better and better when it comes to what we're letting go of in beliefs. And that's one of the beliefs people have is that 20 and 30-year-olds are the only ones that can find love. And that's just not true. And when we can break through that belief, things change. All right. Lead us, my dear, lead us in an experience that will help the soul sister open more to what's possible for her.
Now, this is a healing I did the other day, and it's a really simple healing because people will understand this on a conscious and a subconscious level. But the healing is really about when we're 2 years old, we express ourselves. If we are angry because, a commercial came on and we want a toy and we ask mom for that toy and mom says, no, we're going to throw something. We're going to sit and hit the floor and then scream. And then all of a sudden cartoons come back on and we run back over to the cartoons and we're like, okay, so yeah, if I keep crying, if I keep worrying about this, I can't watch my cartoons. My cartoons are on. I got to go to my cartoons, right? So our expression is really quick. And we don't stay in trauma. We don't stay in the bad feelings. We move through it very quickly. By the time we're about 2 years old, our parents have either beat it out of us or taught it out of us, scared it out of us that we are not allowed to show our emotions in that way. And so therefore we have to suppress our emotions. Mm-hmm. And I want people to feel into that shift between expressing emotions and suppressing emotions. When you suppress emotions, you suppress things like love, joy. You literally just suppress those. You can't express them, which means you can't have them. You can't be angry. You can't have that emotion. And so what my healing does is it goes in as you start to identify with this, as you start to recognize this within yourself. It goes in, it starts to clear the conscious and the subconscious mind. But I also go in and I clear the ancestral aspect of this because this is something that is passed on throughout the lineage. And you're born with this idea and this feeling of shut down, shut down, shut up, you're too much, even down to you're not deserving, you are not worthy, you cannot have, no. And these are all words that are triggers that become building blocks to keep us separate from the things that we want. So my healing, as I'm talking, I'm just sending energy to you at the same time. And I get to see where the cells kind of flare up, like where are these kind of things hidden? And usually it's in the heart area, of course, which is why I do heart-based healing. We just breathe into it. And I'm just going to send a burst of energy. Just feel into that energy. And a lot of people will feel this, and it still works even if you don't. Just become aware of the blocks, aware of the programming, and this energy will go and actually just burst them wide open. Imagine them just exploding and turning into nothing. Now, in its place, as this is being removed, and I'm not going to force you to heal faster than what you're ready for. So this is going to run as long as you need it. But when you're ready for it, the energy that's going to be presented to you is going to be a different energy. And that energy is going to be one that realizes this is just an experience. That I can feel my emotions instantaneously, just like a child. And I can release those emotions so that I can move on to have the next experience that I want. That my feelings don't have to hold me back ever again. Life is just an experience, and you get to choose the experiences you want to have. Now, your ancestors probably didn't feel that way. They probably didn't have that freedom. So we send that same energy throughout your bloodline on your mom and your dad's side. And we show them what it feels like to have this birthright. It is a birthright to be able to create your own experiences. And there's no judgment, positive, negative, whatever it is that you decide you want to experience. You have full control and reign over your life. And that means if you want to attract healthy love, then you'll find out how to attract healthy love. And it's okay to allow whatever you're feeling just to come up. You have permission to feel again. You have permission to go through your experience of emotions again without being punished, without being shut down, and without being shut up. And this will awaken the energy that's accepting of love, that allows love in at any age. Somebody out there is looking for you. Just like you're looking for someone out there is looking for you. So we're just going to become open to that idea, that feeling, that sensation, that experience. And we're going to bring that experience of realizing that somebody's looking for you in the present moment, not in the future, not in the past, but the present moment. And know that you're safe in this present moment of experiencing that as if it is happening right now. And breathe through it. Now, I don't know about anybody who's listening to this because every experience is different. But sometimes people can't stop yawning. Sometimes people cry. Sometimes people want to yell because their emotions are coming up and out. Sometimes people get hot, they get cold. For me, I am having a sensation of warmth, heat, and then cold. Warmth, heat, and then cold. And what this usually represents is it's releasing and accepting. Releasing and healing. You'll cycle through those warm and cold sensations when you're doing the receiving and the releasing. So this is really important if you are feeling that, because you're feeling what the experience is like to actually be open to receiving and removing your blocks. And women like me who are strong-willed, intimidating, using their masculine to live in a masculine world instead of being in their feminine. We might find that this is a very new experience for us to feel the receiving aspect. We tend to feel like we have to take what we want. We have to fight for what we want. And right now you can just allow it to come forward. It might be a little uncomfortable at first, but the healing makes it a lot faster to where you feel really good about it. It feels comfortable. It feels right. And you're like, I can do this. So just breathe through it. Pay attention to the sensations. I'm just going to wrap each and every person up in their own little bubble of energy so that this will run as long as you need it to run. The healing doesn't stop when I stop. It continues. And it's just going to clear out what is needed to get to the intention of being able to receive. It is done.
I'm the yawner. Of course, I wasn't yawning until you said that. Oh, that was so beautiful. It was
Some
so
people
beautiful.
talk about their ears popping, which is so fascinating to me because that's a new thing.
Makes sense though. It's like, what do you need to hear, right? What needs to open? So beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you. Soul sister, I know you got a lot out of that. Make sure after we finish here that you take some time to really let that sink in. We mentioned Ascension Codes earlier. And I would love to give you a couple minutes to talk about what Ascension Codes are and the Ascension healing that you're talking about.
So when people go back and listen to this, that's an Ascension code. I'm literally
Yeah.
just doing the healing and I'm recording it, and people are listening to it and having the same experience as if we were doing this live. And it's really incredible, because with energy work, there is no time and there is no space. You will heal in the past, you will heal in the present, you will heal in the future. And so that's the beauty of me not having to necessarily always do one-on-one work. But, you know, even with some of my clients where I'm like, oh, you have a block, but I have a healing for that.
That's so awesome.
Into this, you know, and then I'll send people healing sometimes when I'm working with them one-on-one, where I'm like, hey, for the next week, I want you to listen to this healing. So that's the Ascension Codes, because I'm literally putting in a frequency, which is like a code. And a lot of times people can feel it. And a lot of the healing is done in silence. And they're like, not only can I feel it, I can hear the code. I can actually hear the frequency. And I'm like, you can do what? And they're like, we can hear the frequency. And I went back and I listened to it once, and I just sat there and I'm like, what are they talking about? And all of a sudden I heard the tone that I was using, and I was like, what? That's so crazy.
That's so awesome. Yeah. So you have these codes, you have these meditations, you have these experiences. There might be someone here going, I'm just damaged. I'm broken. I have so many blocks. I've been betrayed to the core. Like, is this really possible for me? What do you say to someone like that? How can you support this woman who might just be like, I think the ship has sailed and I just don't think I can do it. I don't think love is in the cards for me anymore.
I'm saying, when you finally get a chance to view this interview and you can see my face, because I know this audio right now, but when they can see my face, you're looking in the mirror. I was that person. I was that person that said, I can't do it. It's not for me. I'm too broken. Matter of fact, you know, because I work with coaches and healers too, because it was funny. I was talking to a doctor recently, and I said, you know, people come to me, their cancer disappears, their cyst disappears, their chronic pain disappears. And I was like, and here I am, I can't do it for myself. You know, I changed my life with healing, but I haven't been able to change every single thing that I want. And I said, so I go to other people like you. I'm like, I'm going to a naturopath. I have my coaches, I have my healers. And he said, I would never have a doctor diagnose themselves. A lawyer shouldn't lawyer themselves. Of course you should be taken care of by somebody else. And I was like,
exactly.
Just receiving, right? And so I'm working with my coach, and I'm telling my coach, I'm just broken. I just don't work.
Right.
He goes, let's look at that. Why do you feel like you're broken? And I was like,
and that's why we need people outside of ourselves. You know, we can only see what we can see. We can only know what we know. And, you know, I'm a shadow worker. I help people, as you know, shine a light on the stuff that they can't see on their own, because it's behind them. It's the shadow behind them. And it's like, what have they lost access to? Oh, I can't be vulnerable anymore. I have this huge wall around my heart. Well, you could try to break it down yourself, or you could go to a shadow worker, or you could do one of these meditations, these Ascension Codes, energy work. I mean, we are not meant to do this journey alone. And that's why we hire these mentors. That's why we lean in. And so, soul sister, if you're going, oh, this is so out there, you know, this isn't going to help me. What's the price you're paying by not being open to a new path? What's the cost of thinking it's not going to happen for you? I just might as well accept I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life. And that's a choice, man. That is a choice. It's a valid choice to say, you know what? I love my life. I feel fulfilled. I don't really need or even want a man. And I offer to you I'm going to challenge you, soul sister, and have you question, is that just the old programming? And is there a part perhaps that might want it, but you're not even hearing it anymore? And that's where Adrien's work comes in, with these shifts in energy. And that's where shadow work comes in. When you're able to really see why you're blocked, that's when the magic happens. And that's where the healing happens. I love your story about the whatever kind of cyst that was. Makes me think I might need to reach out to you, because I got my own thing going on in my body. And so let's finish this conversation with what do you think is the secret to finding love in midlife?
Well, I want to go back real quick, and I want what I was telling you about the person I was working with, who was like, okay, so let's dig into this. Let's see why you don't feel like, you know, that you're fixable. And I know it's not true, because the stories, like, I could tell you for days how healed I was, or how healed I've gotten over time. But it was funny because he was able to fix that within 5 minutes. It was it's just a belief.
Yes.
And here's what I really want to share with your audience. A belief is not facts.
Yes.
A belief is not facts. And that's the only problem that we have as people, is that we tend to treat our beliefs as if they're facts.
Yep.
Like, it's science. It's science. It's science that I'm broken, and it's science that I can't be fixed. And it's been proven by science, and no, the hell it hasn't.
Yeah. I love that, and I'm glad you followed up with that, because that would have been a great question for me to ask, and I didn't, and so be it. And I'm so glad that you brought that up. Yeah. And in reference to beliefs, here's an interesting thing too. You could believe that you're broken. You could believe that you're healed. You could believe whatever you want. That's how powerful you are. At the end of the day, some of your beliefs are hurting you, and some of your beliefs are keeping you stuck. And when you can break through that and come back to your truth, come back to who you really are in your essence, where, like Adrien said, no time, no space, you're able to really drop into all of what's possible. Anything is possible, including midlife love.
You said something really interesting. You're like, people who are listening, who are like, yeah, I don't really want love. Well, then why are they listening to your show? They want love.
That is a good point too.
Let's just be honest. Like, anybody who's listening to this and I'm like, no, I'm good, I'm gonna stay single, I can't do this thing. And I'm like, nah, you're listening to this for a reason.
There's something, there's an itch, you know, there's a pull, you know, look, I stand for love. This is what I do. This is what I truly believe is the answer to everything on this friggin' planet. If we could really access the fullness and richness of love and melt away our fear, we come together. And so when it comes to romantic love, yeah, like, how juicy is that when you think about having somebody to meet you, have your back, spend time with, or however you define it, because there's lots of different ways to have a relationship. And so, yes, you're absolutely right. You're here, stay open, and keep soaking up all the tools. So, Adrien, secret to finding midlife love, what you got?
So here's the thing I really wanted to share with your audience is that, you know, I was single for 20 years. 20 years. I convinced myself I did not want to do this. I went through I love healing intensive, which I actually do for my clients. And one of the things that I discovered was that, you know, I've always had men interested in me, and I've always had men be really kind to me. And that's not what I was used to growing up with. But that's what I commanded for myself. I commanded respect. And that was me coming from my masculine. Well, how do I do this coming from my feminine, right? So I found somebody who literally asked me one day, he said, what is it in your previous relationships that you never got that you would like me to give you? And that is my defining moment. So when I actually sought help, it was because it's a long distance relationship, and I'd like to move this person into my house. And I'm like, I don't know if I can have you in my space. Like, I don't know if I could do that. And so I knew I still had a block, right? Because it wasn't coming from a positive place, and I knew that. And so that's what I worked on. And really how I did that is I determined for myself that no matter how embarrassing it is, no matter how much fear I have around it, no matter what my story is, I am going to start admitting to people, I want love. It doesn't matter if I think I can get it or not. Doesn't matter what the story is around it. This is my desire. I am telling my story, and this is my true desire. I had this thing where it was like, I was too embarrassed to say I want that thing, because I didn't really think I could get it. So why am I going to tell you that and embarrass myself? And then you see that I can't get it, which is embarrassing. I had this whole story. I'm telling you, it was a huge story. And that's what changed for me. That's how I ended up getting the help that I needed. That's when I started working on my own heart and actually healing myself. It was incredible. But there is a moment of truth that has to happen for yourself, that no matter how painful it is, you have to admit. And if you can't say that you want this thing, you will not get that thing, period.
Yeah. If you don't, and if you don't send that message out there, the universe is not going to know what you want. And so it starts with you, it starts with us really getting clear and then saying, this is what I want. And again, I'm going to come back to some women don't know what they want. And it might even be you, soul sister. You might be like, I have no idea. And that's where we are inviting you to drop in and go, well, if I could have everything I want, what might it look like? What do I really want when it comes to love? What does partnership mean to me? And spend some time figuring that out. She was single for 20 years and then she was like, yeah, so you can do it too. Any last words, Adrien? Oh my God, before we go, you have a special gift. Oh my God, I almost forgot. What is your special gift for this soul sister?
No, my gift is one of my Ascension Codes, but it happens at a webinar. And one of the things that I teach about is receiving with an open hand. And just to give you an example of what we're healing in this webinar that you're going to get for free is I want everybody to just make a fist. Just close your hand really, 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 really tight. Now, if I try to hand you $100 and you have a closed fist, is it going to fit? What's going to happen? Like, it's just going to roll off the hand and fall to the floor. And you're going to be like, dang it, right?
I wanted that.
That's what we're doing when we show up in our lives and we're rejecting love. When we don't think that we can get what it is that we want, we just kind of close off and create that fist. And then we blame everybody else. Why don't they love me? Or we say, what's wrong with me? And it's like, it's just as simple as opening your hand.
Yeah.
So like open your hand right now. For everybody who created that fist, who's willing to play along, open your hand. Now, if I try to hand you that $100, what happens? It becomes very easy to receive. And women are made to receive. Where are our private parts? They're in between something where you have to open to receive. So when we think about this, we are meant to be receivers. And so I created this healing so that people can actually effortlessly open up to receiving. Because I think this hard work stuff is over. I'm just over that. So my healings are meant to make things
love it. I'm like, as you hear, I'm like already,
exactly.
And we are open to receive if we can allow ourselves to receive. And we've been taught to shut down and shut up and all the things you just said. So if you're feeling tight, if you're feeling that shutdown, if you're feeling like that wall's around you, definitely grab this beautiful offering that she's giving you. It'll be in the show notes. The link will be in the show notes. And thank you. Thank you, Adrien. Thank you for your time and your brilliance and your spunk. I love you. I think you're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. All right, soul sister. I know you got a lot out of this one, and I'm going to encourage you to go back and even listen again to that experience. And because, it happened, and take it to another level, maybe even listen to it daily. Just keep breathing it in, grab her free gift so that you can learn how to open, because at the end of the day, if you are locked down, how is that going to work for you when it comes to true intimacy, true receiving, true giving and taking and allowing love to pour into your heart? So good information here. For those of you watching YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the station and tap that little bell so you get the notifications. And if you're listening on the audio podcast, please rate and review it. This is how Apple and Spotify knows that there's value here. So if you got some value here, support this platform so that more soul sisters like you know that there's something going on in midlife love out loud. All right, that's it for today. Much love to you. Mwah.